your nose in it. I'm authentic, real name, no gimmicks, no game, no scrimmage. I ain't playing with you niggas.
Everyone, it's the Nation of Podcation Daily Podcast. I'm O'Shea. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Hip-hop super producer DJ Yella of N.W.A. tells the real reason that Ice Cube left the group and why he was okay after he left the group. Now, as we all know, N.W.A. was one of the founding fathers of West Coast hip-hop. You had Eazy-E leading the way with super mega producers. You had Dr. Dre and Yella. Then you had the lyricists. You had Ice Cube and you had MC Ren. Hey, those guys together put their stamp on hip-hop. The Straight Outta Compton album, hey, that's what that pioneered West Coast hip-hop. You know, there wasn't nobody that had done it like they did it up until that point. So you got to give all of those guys their due. Now, even when they broke up, just look what spawned of all of that. When Eazy left, let's start with Ice Cube. When Ice Cube left, he did Lynch Mob. He had multiple platinum albums after that. The Death Certificate, The Predator, all of those classics. And he made that infamous No Vaseline diss song towards N.W.A. Now, let's talk about Eazy-E, what Eazy-E did. Eazy-E was still on Ruthless Records. Him and MC Ren kind of was doing their own thing. And then we got Bone Thugs in Harmony. Lazy, Crazy, Busy, Wish, Flesh. From Cleveland to Midwest, went all the way out to California. So we got Bone Thugs and Harmony from Eazy-E before he passed away. And then look what Dr. Dre did. Now we saw at the Super Bowl a couple years ago what Dr. Dre's done. Let's see, he gave us, for one, himself as one of the greatest producers of all time. He gave us Snoop Dogg. He gave us Eminem. He gave us 50 Cent. He gave us G-Unit. He gave us D12. He gave us Game. He gave us Kendrick Lamar. I mean, Dr. Dre, his tree, untouchable. Everybody up under the Dr. Dre's tree is legendary. I mean, the dude is one of the greatest to ever do it. You know, I would be hard pressed to find anybody to name their top 5 producers and Dr. Dre not be in there. Anyway, Yella tells this story about when Cube left the group, why he left the group, how he was able to leave the group, and how his situation was different than everybody else. Let's take a look at this clip from Yella.
That 4-year run, I think it was about 4 years. Yeah. He was hitting. I mean, gold, platinum. You know, we was in the studio all the time making hits. That's what we did. We should have went back on the road. Remember I told you about the Guns N' Roses? That would have changed. Because me and Dre wanted to get back on the road. Road was our love. You know, the studio, of course, but the road was just life. The thing, it's hard to say. I mean, you know, you would have to go through, okay, we should have managers, you should have this, you know, the business-wide, but it would have been hard for him to learn more under that regime. You know, because you don't know what they really telling you. You know, you don't know if they really teaching you, learning you. And remember, that regime came from the 60s, and they knew every angle of a song, you know, not saying they was out to cheat or anything, but they knew the business, we didn't know the business. We should have had a group meeting, the 5, when it was still 5. Discuss what was going on, but that never happened. That's the issue. That meeting, or should have been meeting, never planned or anything, but we should have, not even a meeting, we should have just talked about it. You know, we was in the studio so much, doing everything so much, we could have just what's going on? Okay, what's on your mind? You know, or whatever the case may be. Maybe it could have been brought up like the contracts. They waiving $75,000. That was hard. I don't know how Cube didn't sign. It's amazing. Because he had a mother and father still at home. Yeah. See, that's the difference, too. He had a stable house. Me, I was just my mother. Dre was just his mother, you know, and so on, or whatever. But we just should have got together and just, but you know something, Vlad? Mr. Vlad, I'm going to call you. It was meant to break up. That group had to break up to get here. Because think about it, we sold more now than in the old days. Well, yeah, you guys were one of the few groups to break up after #1 album. Yeah. Like, that usually doesn't happen. You break up on the #1. Usually it's like, all right, we've dropped 4 albums, nobody gives a shit. Yeah. I'm going to go solo and try to scrape together whatever. You know, so crazy. Whatever I could do. When we got the rock and roll that night, I asked the guy, I said, do you know how many albums we did? And he was thinking, I said, we did 2 albums. And an EP. That wasn't the album. That was a mini EP. You know, it wasn't an album, though. That was an important project, though. No, I'm saying, but how many people get into rock and roll with 2 albums? No, I get it. I really consider it 3, though, because I felt that was... That's 2.5. 2.5. Yeah. All right, I'll give you... Because it's only 4 songs, 5, whatever it was. But right. It's just, even at that, 2.5. 2.5 plus... Yeah, you can't add everybody else. I guess you can't really add Eazy-E because that's not N.W.A. Yeah. It's talking about N.W.A. You can't add the Michelle, you can't add the Doc, you know, the label. Can't do the Ice Cube solo album. Yeah, it's not, but it's just amazing that group had to break up and fall apart. And it didn't just fall, it dissolved instantly. Well, yeah, but then a lot of the members went on to have I'm saying the careers. The group had to dissolve. Yeah, you guys like the Beatles, basically. You guys were essentially the hip-hop equivalent of the... So we got 2 Paul...
All right, Nation, there you have it. So he says that Ice Cube had both his parents. That's why he didn't have to sign that deal, that $75,000 up front, which makes sense because Master P said one time in an interview, he said that he went to Jimmy Iovine with No Limit Records and him and C Murder and them went in there and Jimmy Iovine was like, yeah, I'm gonna offer you $1 million deal and all of this stuff. And he turned it down and C Murder was mad at him. He's like, hey man, why didn't you take that money? And he was like, well, just think about it. If he's willing to give me $1 million, then just think how much I really have to be worth or what we got, how much that has to be worth. And that's facts because Master P did his own thing and he ended up turning that $1 million, that turned that $1 million deal down and ended up making himself and No Limit Records worth upwards to $500 million. You know what I'm saying? So that's unheard of. But just think if he had to sign that $1 million deal and was just getting peanuts, just getting little crumbs that they was getting, and Jimmy Iovine and Interscope, they'd have been making all of that bread. That's a visionary right there. So Ice Cube is one of those types too. He knew something was up if they gonna give $75,000 up front and that was it, especially type of money and stuff that they was making, and he was not going. So shout out to the other O'Shea, you feel me? He's the other O'Shea and his son is the other O'Shea, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to them for doing their thing, you know what I'm saying? Nation, what do you think about Yella's comments? Who do you think had the best tree outside of Dr. Dre in N.W.A? Who is your favorite N.W.A member? Nation, let me know in the comment section down below. Make sure you all hit that like and subscribe button on your way out.
In it. I'm authentic, real name, no gimmicks, no game, no scrimmage. I ain't playing with you niggas.
O'Shea and I been kicking it strong for a minute now. O'Shea doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke. O'Shea is a professional model.
Attitude like a young O'Shea with an AK.
Okay, don't you tell these motherfuckers that my name is O'Shea.